Hi everyone and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. For this week's tutorial we're going to be turning your Terry's Chocolate Orange into this Gonk Witch Halloween theme. Everything you need to know in a simple step-by-step format. Basic equipment is used and excellent for any new beginner baker. Let's make a start. Take your Terry's Chocolate Orange, unwrap this and simply place directly onto some baking paper. Using some liquid glucose, you may find this easier if you warm it up slightly. Simply brush this all over your Terry's Chocolate Orange egg. Liquid glucose is just liquid sugar and this will give something for the fondant to stick to. Roll out exactly 150 grams of fondant. You want to try to keep this in a circular shape. Gently drape this over your Terry's Chocolate Orange, negotiating the pleats from the top to the bottom, smoothing it out as you go. A really handy piece of equipment if you make a lot of these Terry's Chocolate Oranges to order are these flexible smoothers by Squire's Kitchen. They are not essential if you only make a few, but they do help you smooth it out just a little bit better. And finally, using a sharp knife, I simply cut off the excess fondant. For our witch's feet, you want to start with 2 small balls of green fondant. Simply push this down at the back end. This will be going underneath the Terry's Chocolate Orange, and then at the front, using your fingers, make it more pointy. It really is as simple as that, and you can make 2 pointed witch's shoes. I then place the edible shoes in the position that I want them, add some edible glue and simply push down the Terry's Chocolate Orange directly on top. For our Gonk's nose, create a small cone-like shape in your hands, add a small amount of edible glue and then simply place it directly on there and just push down a small amount of the fondant that's not going to be seen in order for it to stick. In order to create the witch's cape, I start by making a rough shape. So roll out a thin piece of black modelling paste this time and cut out a circle directly in the centre. You then want to be able to open it up, so as you can see here I then cut away a simple triangle. I then cut down the modelling paste slightly just around the outside before applying this directly to the Terry's Chocolate Orange. As long as you use modelling paste, this is actually quite easy. I then drape this over and as you can see there's no skill involved. Simply stick it down as you go and cut off any excess. You want it to look like a nice waving cape and then just leave it to set. So whilst that is to one side drying, we're going to make those plaits. Simply roll out 3 even sized sausages and plait these together. You don't need any edible glue because you can add a small amount of pressure to the fondant and it will stick together naturally. Repeat this for both of them. In order to get rid of the excess icing sugar, I have actually steamed my Gonk. Don't worry if you don't have a steamer, you can just use a brush and some cooled down boiled water. But because this has been steamed, there is no need for me to apply any edible glue. I simply place the plait directly on there and just cut off the excess. Repeat this for the other plait. Now her arms are super easy to make. Start with a cone shape and I just make it a little bit flatter on the end. I use a ball tool just to add an indentation. You want them both the same size, so I keep on comparing it and then stick this directly to my Gonk. Before taking this small ball of green fondant, you want to roll this so it's just pointy at one end, again like a cone shape, and then this time I just use a cocktail stick to add a small indentation. For our Gonk's witch's hat, simply take some black fondant and roll this into a cone shape first, making it very pointy at one end. You want the base to be flat, so use your work surface for this. The more pointy you get it, the better, and then you can bend it left, you can bend it right, and it will just give it more of an effect. Using a small amount of edible glue, simply apply the heart directly to the top of your chocolate orange egg. I then roll out a sausage shape in purple. I've already applied a small amount of edible glue to the rim of the heart, and I simply drape this around and cut off the excess on the back, also while shaping it into place. And finally, if you have one, this part is not necessary, so don't worry if you don't. I simply add a few stars using a plunger cutter. Happy baking, everyone. I really do hope I've helped you again today, and I'll be back soon with an awful lot more new, completely free content.